Look, I like the schedule overall. I'll get into so again, I'm just going to list off the reasons why I like the Titans schedule. Now, the Bear says Austin's only happy because he doesn't have to work on holidays. Yes, that's true. As soon as the schedule came in, we all, as Buck mentioned last night on primetime, we get the schedule early. The first thing Jack did was no holidays. Jack celebrated the no holidays in the group text. And so, yeah, that's a big deal. But that's not the real reason. I like the fact that the Titans have one primetime game and 14 noon Sunday games as of right now. Routine is a big deal. No Thursday games, no short week preparation. I also like the fact the Titans don't play against anybody coming off of a bye week. They have 4 games on the schedule where they face the opponent that has a short week going into them. So these are all big time things. The Titans' only short week is when they go to Miami on Monday Night Football. Then the bye week follows that. So even with the early bye week in week 5, you get it to your benefit because you don't have to play a short week on the road and travel a bunch there too. So for a lot of reasons, I really like the schedule. But I think the biggest reason why I think this Titans schedule is set up really well for the Titans to actually compete to win the AFC South is because of how the divisional games are set up. Now, you might think that's counterintuitive because they play 5 divisional games in the last 7 games of the season. But I think that works for the Titans' advantage because everything is new. New coach, new play caller, new coordinator, new offensive line coach, new staff, everything, new strength and conditioning guy, new vice president and GM, new analytics department, new offensive line, new wide receivers, new running backs, new defensive coordinators, new everything. So you get at least 2/3 of your season under your belt to figure it all out and then get ready to go win the division. So the good thing is the Titans can't lose the division by figuring it out with everything being new. And I love it. I think it's great because the Titans are going to be alive in the AFC playoff picture and in the AFC South because they play so many divisional games and add another AFC opponent late in the season. Look, 12 through 18, you've got 6 AFC opponents in 5 divisional games in a winnable game on the road at the Commanders. It's perfect. No matter really what happens in the first 11 games, the first 11 weeks, 10 games, if you're just within striking distance, you can have a losing record in your first 10 games. You can probably not be 3-7, but you can be 4-6 and not be in a bad spot. If you're 5-5 after the first 10 games, you're in a good spot because you've got so much opportunity to climb the ladder late in the year. And you've also got winnable games up front in the schedule as well. I think it's the perfect time to play Caleb Williams. If you're going to play a rookie quarterback, you want to play him in the first 5 games of the year, and you're getting Caleb Williams first. And so I think that's great. He's going to have a little bit of like butterflies. He opens up at home. There's a lot of expectations. You have a brand new defense. He has no idea what the hell is going to come at him. He's got new receivers, new everything too. And you get to go tee off on Caleb Williams in Chicago. And look, another thing that's positive, you avoid any type of extreme weather. You avoid all extreme weather. Maybe at Washington in early December or late November, whenever it falls, is a little chilly, but it's not that bad. It's just like playing at home right now in those late months too. You got Miami in September, but it's a night game. That's a plus. And then you got Buffalo is early in the season before it gets cold, and Chicago in the first damn game of the year when it's the most beautiful city in the country, right? So I think this is a great way the schedule has fallen this season. So Jack, how do you feel about the overall thoughts on my division opponent take two?
No, yeah, I totally agree with it, and you made some great points. It's nice to think that I disagree with one point you made. 4-6 through 10 games isn't going to get you there. because you're not going to sweep the division. You're not gonna win 5 of your
Well,
last.
again, if you're 4-6 in the first 10 games, you have to beat the Colts, and you have to beat the Patriots. And Jack and I, we're gonna do our win-loss predictions tomorrow. But if you're 4-6, then you have to have 2 of those AFC wins, and you probably have to beat the Chargers too. You got to, 3 of the 4 probably need to be Colts, Patriots, and Chargers to get AFC wins. But that's kind of beside the point. We'll get more detail to that Friday.
Yeah, I'm looking for more of a 5-5 type start, and the Titans are gonna have to steal one, maybe even 2 if they blow one of those winnable games in the first 11 weeks of the season. So, I don't know. Like Gary says, Jack's so negative. I'm not negative. Like Austin makes great points. It's great to be in a routine all season long. It's great to have teams coming off short rest, and it's great to catch Caleb Williams, early. So while I do like some aspects of it, just not having that bye week later in the season is a real downer for me, man. And just with the Titans' history, I feel like it's so important to have that bye week later. And this is another season. I think it came in week 6 I think it came in week 7 maybe last season after London.
Yep.
But I just would like that to be a little bit later, just because of some fresh wounds I have due to the Titans being injured. But that's my biggest gripe. What I dislike about this schedule is the first 4 games of this thing. I mentioned yesterday that Will Levis and the Titans need to build confidence early with some easy wins. They're in an easy win in the first month of the season. Sure, you get Caleb Williams in his rookie in his NFL debut, but the cornerbacks you're going up against in those first weeks. I mean, you got to deal with Jalen Johnson on the Bears. You've got week 2 Sauce Gardner on the other side of the field. Week 3 comes. Remind me, week 3. Week 3 is
Packers.
You got Jair Alexander, and then you got Jalen Ramsey with the Dolphins. So those first 4 games, Will Levis is going to have to surprise somebody. They're not going to be favored in any of those first 4 games. So he's got to go out, and he's going to be tested early in this season, which might be good for him to throw him to the fire early. But, I mean, this is not an easy first month of this schedule. The Titans could – I mean, I could see them coming out of there 0-4. I think 1-3 is probably – the most likely. If you could squeeze 2-2 out of there, I mean, that would be a hell of a start to the season. But let's not mince words over this. The first 4 games of this schedule are really tough.
They are. And you play 3 playoff teams from a year ago, which sounds like a great look, but you've got, I think the first 4 games are very tough. But the Packers, the Dolphins, and the Bills. I guess you play 4 playoff teams from a year ago because you got the Bills and the Lions in there. So, I don't think it's, and they're in the first, 7 games of the season, all 4 of them. So I get the point of having an early schedule that's tough and not letting Levis kind of naturally mature into it. But I don't like. I think it's fine. I think the benefit, and Gary 2 times who's calling you negative Jack, and now I see Nate Springer saying he wants to mute Jack. I think here's the positive.
The question is, what do you dislike most about the Titans schedule? So that's what I dislike most. I'm not hating on the Titans.
Right. Yeah. So I think to flip your dislike into maybe it's just a wash. These teams have no idea what to expect from the Titans too. Right? Like it's a clean slate. You don't know what Brian Callahan's truly going to do. Like you can look and say, oh, they're going to be like the Bengals. Okay. They got pretty good personnel on the offense outside of weapons with all the Ridley, D-Hop, and Tyler Boyd, and Tony Pollard, and Tajay Spears. The offensive line is going to be better because you got Berth and Olga to work with over the next 3 months leading up to it. So, look, I think playing tougher teams early is the right thing for this year, and having your divisional games late is the right thing for this year.